Hello and welcome to my video all about how to do the knit one below stitch, or K1B for short. Later on in the video I'll show you how to do a purl one below stitch as well. Basically, a knit one below stitch is the same as a regular knit stitch, but it's knit through the loop below the one you normally knit through. Here is some knitting I've already done, and I've been doing the fisherman's rib stitch, which makes use of the knit one below stitch. So I've just done a purl stitch and now I have to do a knit one below. Normally what I do is hold the left needle a bit more horizontally and I angle the top stitch so that the front strand is closer to the needle point and the strand behind the needle is further away from the point. This way I find it easier to see the line of stitches and it just makes the process a little bit clearer, I think. So if I hold the stitch like that, you can clearly see that there's a loop around the needle that's the top stitch. However, instead of going through that hole that's right next to the needle, you're going to go through the loop below that one. So if you look a bit further down, you'll see another loop with a hole in the centre, and that's the one you're going to take the right hand needle point through. So it's kind of what it says on the tin really, you're just knitting into the loop below the one you normally knit into. So you take your right hand needle from front to back through that loop, and then you do all the normal steps of a knit stitch. So you cross the right hand needle behind, wrap the working yarn around it, and then pull that yarn back through the stitch that you went through. You just have to be careful not to bring your needle back through the loop that you normally would come through, right next to the needle. And as usual, you push the stitch off the top of the left hand needle to complete the stitch. So we'll do that again. I just need to do a purl stitch in between, and then we're back to a knit one below stitch. As with any knit stitch, the yarn is always at the back of the needles. Again, I manipulate the stitches a little bit to make the loops a bit clearer to me. And then I just identify the loop I would normally go through, which is currently the top stitch. And then I look at the loop below that one. I take my right hand needle through that second loop down and do the normal steps of a knit stitch. And then I bring the yarn back through that same stitch to the front. And then push the stitch off the left hand needle to complete the knit stitch. Okay, so I'll just do that one more time, a bit quicker. If you look at the stitch you've just made, you'll see that it's now wrapped by two stitches, which is the effect you get with the knit one below. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to show you how to do the purl one below. As always with purl stitches, the yarn is at the front of the needles. You're going to use the same loop that you did for the knit one below, but instead you're going to purl through it rather than knit through it. So again, you identify that second loop down, and this time you're going to take the right hand needle from the back to the front through that stitch. So you go from back to front, through that second loop down, and cross it in front. Then you wrap the working yarn, and then pull that yarn back through the same stitch. And finally push that stitch off the top of the left hand needle. Okay, so I'll show you that again. You identify the second loop down and take the right hand needle from back to front through that loop. You cross it in front, wrap the yarn around the point, and then pull the yarn back through that same stitch. And now I'll just show you that one more time. Okay, so that completes my demonstration of the knit one below and purl one below stitches. I hope this video has been helpful, and thank you very much for watching.